topic I chose for my speech is disability rights. I chose disability rights because I think a good policy is everyone should be created equal, and a person with a disability has just as much ability to get things done as a normal person when given the opportunity. The 3 points I will be keying in on are educational rights at a young age, workplace equality and workers in poverty, and accommodations throughout the community. According to webapps.dole.gov, people with a disability between the ages of 16 and 14, only 55.8% are employed. So getting into my 3 main points are educational rights. 1/3 of the 58 million children who are in schools, 1/3 of them have a disability of some sort, whether it's physical or mental disability. According to understood.org, IDEA law requires any school to provide the proper accommodations for a person with a disability, physical or mental. Fighting for accommodations can often be very difficult and varies from school to school and things like that, but if you make enough of a stance and even bring in lawyers and things like that, you can often get the accommodations you need. And I know personally it can be a big issue from things I've had to deal with, along with people I went to school with who have been severely autistic. There's been a couple people who are blind, and there was people with Down syndromes, and I know their accommodations varied, and the struggle to get the right things for them to succeed in school was very difficult. Education is the baseline for any person who is going to be successful in life. It teaches them so many things, and it's just a good foundation for someone who has a disability. Second is workplace and workers in poverty. As you can see on my chart here, the dark red areas throughout the country are areas with more people with a disability who are in poverty, so the rates are higher in those areas. According to BOIA.org, the average income for a person who has a disability was $22,000, in comparison to a considered average and normal person was $32,000 for the same exact job. Because this is such a common thing, 21% of the working population of people with a disability are in poverty, not only in bigger cities, but also very small towns. 14.5 million people with a disability have to rely on Social Security disability income, which isn't much money, and it's hard to cover the medications, the therapies, transportation that is needed for them to get around and make it to the appointments they need, or even to work. So that just shows there. And then if there are 15 people in a workplace, that is only when the next person who signs up and they may have a disability, that's only when they would be considered for the job. Whether it's a gas station, fast food, any other retail, or a business job, they will only be given the opportunity if there are 15 other people who work for that company. If they're capable of doing it when there's 15, why aren't they capable when there's 4 or 5 people? My third and final main point is community accommodations. According to the ADA.gov, there's no discrimination required. There's no discrimination for a person who is in need of transportation, whether it's with a bus, on a plane. They need a different company called paratransit, but the worker on whatever transportation it is has to allow them on. They have to accommodate for what they need, whether it's more seating, help loading a wheelchair, things like that. They have to do that, and if not, they can be reported for discrimination. Like I said, with airplanes, they are allowed to board early, make sure they are safely in their seat and ready for their flight and things like that. there are places who their business can't accommodate for their wheelchair ramps or the allotted needed space for someone with a cane who is blind. Therefore, they don't get in trouble for that. There are no fines, but newer buildings are required to have all the accommodations needed for anyone who has a form of disability. But these older buildings, they're just allowed to get away with it. They don't have to fix anything for the accommodations, which I think is not right. Along with that, a company is not allowed to turn away a person who has a service dog of any form. The dog just has to be has to show that they are a service dog with their vest, and they are not allowed to turn people away. Even though it happens all the time, it is against laws for a person with a disability. So in conclusion, a policy that forms equal rights to anyone with a disability is what is needed, because equality is a big push throughout the nation. So it should be extended on to anyone who needs that extra help. And according to alq.org, you have the right to ask and receive the right accommodations for you to succeed in life, whether it's in the community, in the classroom, or in the workplace, to provide for yourself and show more of your abilities to anyone who doesn't believe in you. I think it is a very big topic that needs to be pursued. Oh, she was